Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Welcome back, folks. Chris live in Central Pennsylvania. Oh, one of my tulips fell. Darn. It fell over here. A couple of them falling. Okay. Look like they want to die on me already. Okay. Come on, get back up there. I didn't see that till just now. Well, this will be the last you'll see. Where's this thing at? There he is. Okay. Yeah, the last you'll see of my healthy tulips as I'm leaving, and they'll probably be dead when I return. But yeah, there they are. They're beautiful. The purple on the left and the pink on the right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. This is a brief news program with lots of information packed into a very short time. I've been very busy this morning since about 6:30 prepping for my trip, since I was knackered yesterday and didn't do a night owls and came back from the Veterans Organization and put some things together. Didn't. So anyway, checked in for my flight and departing here shortly for the airport. My mailman just delivered the mail. I'll check my mail before I leave. That way I don't have to, they're going to hold it at the post office after this. Well, thanks for tuning in. So some programming announcements and some news. First off, for refugees, if you're a refugee in the United States and you have been dissatisfied with the treatment you received from your case officer and or your case agency, or you feel that things are moving too slowly, or you feel that you've been ill-treated in some way, you've been dumped. Also, if they tell you that we're dumping you after 30 days, your money's gone, these are an awful lot of untruths that are taking place, and these agencies are getting away with some shameful conduct. By law, they're funded so that they can provide assistance of some sort up through 5 years of your resettlement in America. Now, that's not cash assistance, but they can't say we're cashing you out and you have to go. They're acting as if this is a transaction. It's not a transaction. They have an obligation. They're being funded. So with that in mind, if you have any complaints, you want to contact the Office of Refugee Resettlement. All right? Contact them directly. Now, what I'm going to tell you before I give you this email address is please do not use this as a place to vent. Yesterday, somebody called me. I didn't ask for the call. They said they'd already sent me a WhatsApp and an email. I didn't find the email. I didn't find the WhatsApp. That doesn't mean they didn't send it. But then the person wanted to spend 20 minutes explaining their story, their entire life, their favorite color, their favorite sexual position, and everything under the sun. Please do not do that in your message to them. If you send them a message at this email, tell them who you are, give them your case number, tell them where you're resettled, tell them the agency you resettled, the date you arrived, the number of people that are with you. These are basic things. And then tell them what you're concerned about. And don't go on, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do it. Tell them the facts. My front door doesn't lock. I live in a neighborhood where gunshots ring out every night. My case officer said there's no money. They pay for my deposit and I'm done. They're cashing me out. I didn't ask to be cashed out. Yada, yada, yada. Be specific. Give dates and times. Give names. Do not give generalities because you waste investigators' time. Okay? So for those of you who have complaints for the Office of Refugee Resettlement, this is what you do. You write to this email address, Refugee Programs Grievance at acf.hhs.gov. Refugee Programs Grievance, all together, one word, at acf.hhs.gov. All right? So there you go, folks. That's what you do, all right? Don't call because, it rained and you wanted it to be sunshine. You call because you were mistreated or maltreated or something, or not call, but you send an email because something serious happened, okay? So that's the purpose of this. Let's not abuse this. Let's use this wisely, okay? I've gotten this through my meeting with the Office of Refugee Resettlement last week, and here you go. This is what you respond to. Send that, all right? Now, if you want to send me something, you're still welcome to send me something. So I can follow up on it. But what you need to do is this is how you can engage with them directly. They have people now devoted to answering these emails. All right? There. This is not for South Africans in South Africa. This is not for people in South Africa. Are you listening to me? If one of you people in South Africa sends an email here, it's going to piss me off. This is not for people who are refugee aspirants. Your process is not approved. You are not out of the country. You're not a refugee until you show up at the assembly area and they shepherd you to the airport. That's when you become a refugee. All right? It's only for people in the United States who've been resettled. Okay? Let's be clear about that. I do not want this to be abused. All right? That's the hazard of something like this. Yes, they're going to be flooded with some dumb emails. I've done my best, 1440, to explain what people need to do. Hopefully people will listen for once. Actually, that one's not even pink. That's actually a red one. Less than a pink and more of a red one, yeah. Well, maybe it's pink. Anyway, yeah. You can copy me an email if you have my email address. That's fine. Yep. Actually, you're welcome to copy me on all of them. CC me or send it to me as well. And that way they'll see that I'm getting it. Tanya, thank you for the 99 Rand Super Chat. It's very kind of you. Appreciate that. I didn't know I was going to get Super Chats on this. 184 people here very quickly. All right, so I don't have a lot of time. I need to get out of here and get to the airport. I'm already checked in, so it's not a crisis. It's a small airport. But I do have a very quick turnaround time once I get to Chicago, so hopefully I'll get sorted. But I've got, right now, 2.5 hours before my flight. I want to leave at the bottom of the hour, and I've got a few things to put together and throw on before I get in the car. And then I'm off to the airport. It'll take me about a half hour to get there. So I'll get there around 11, flight at 12:30. All I have to do is check in my bag. You have to check it in 45 minutes before the flight, and I will be checking it in an hour and a half before the flight. It's twice as much time, so we should be fine. If things go well, I'll be arriving in Las Vegas later this afternoon, their time. They're 3 hours behind us on Pacific Daylight Time right now. So it's only 7 in the morning there right now. So 4 o'clock there, so 7 o'clock East Coast times. So it will be after midnight for South Africans when I arrive in Vegas. So I will do a night owls. I'll have to adjust it. But I'm going to the Vegas Golden Knights game tonight, assuming I make it there on time. So I'm not sure how I'll do a night owl until after that game. So it'll be late tomorrow morning for those in South Africa. All right. So there you go. Now, we have some congratulations in order, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Emilio, a friend of mine and a friend of the channel. Joe Emilio has been a guest on here, and we've talked many times. I've visited him. Joe Emilio has won an award for his investigative documentary on the Tygerberg Raceway, which he deserved to get. It was a brilliant documentary. Well done to Joe. Let me show you. He's posted on his Twitter account. He's quite proud of what he did. Yep. So when Peter Dutoy calls the likes of Ronaldo and Byron and myself and Kool-Aid and what's her name from Citizen Concerned and Joe, not real journalists, well, this is a real journalist who won a real award, a genuine award. Congratulations to Joe Emilio. Stolen Ground, the Tygerberg Raceway story. Documentaries Without Borders Film Festival, exceptional merit. Look at that. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant. Congratulations to Joe. That's amazing. Looks like Joe's lost a little weight, got a little bit of sun going on there. Congratulations to Joe Emilio on his award. Well deserved. So give it up to Joe. Go visit his Twitter account. All right, his Twitter account is at Joe _ Emilio _ All right. So there's that. Now, we also have some other news here. Carl von Blerk, our friend from Food Socks, whom I interviewed in September of last year and then stepped forward when I asked for help for those who were stranded in South Africa for food. He did not hesitate. Carl has sent me an update of where we're at, and he also sent me some other very interesting information. Let me look it up very quickly here in my WhatsApp so that you've got it. All right. Carl said that he's been nominated in 5 categories in Industry Recognition Awards. Thank you, Martin, for 35 Rand. Okay. He's been nominated in 5 categories of the Industry Recognition Awards for 2026. It's a great opportunity to get some exposure for what we're doing with Food Socks and Heartfelt Foods. Yep. So he asked if I could let people know about this. Below this video, there are links to it. And if you want to go vote for him, so I think we like Philanthropist. Let's check that one out. Let me get Philanthropist here. So here's the industry awards. You can go. I'll get you this one. And you can vote for it if you'd like. I think Carl deserves a recognition. Let's get as many votes as we can for this. So let me put that in there. Okay, I'll paste it or post it at the top. That's pinned at the top. All right, so here's what it looks like, the industry award page. He's got several categories he's been nominated in, but he has been not. Oh, no thanks. I don't need DuckDuckGo. There you go. This is the industry recognition for Philanthropist, Carl von Blerk. There he is, right there. He's a Lions Club member. There's Carl. Okay. So you get to vote for him. He's got 17 votes so far. We got 217 days before it ends, apparently. But let's let Carl get some support there. Go check it out and vote for him, and we'll see how we're doing. Renus, enjoy the trip to Vegas. Hope you enjoy yourself, and thank you for your assistance. I'll do my best. Okay, Colonel, you're a star. Keep making things happen. I'm trying, Peter Adams. I'm trying. Okay. Steven sent me a message. Okay. Good morning, says Albert Schutte. Okay. Just another girl. All right. Yes, people, please listen. Please use your ears. If you are a refugee already resettled in America, if you're not resettled, this isn't for you. A refugee resettled in America, this is for you. The Office of Refugee Resettlement is trying to resolve concerns and complaints and address egregious misconduct by some of the case officers and agencies. You may send an email to this email address explaining, give your case number, Give your name. Give the number of people in your party that are part of your case. Give the location you've gone to. It would help to give your address as well and your telephone number. Give all the information pertinent, not unnecessary drivel, but pertinent information. Your case officer, their contact, the address, the agency name, and then detail your grievances in short bullet format. Short bullet format. Okay? If I have time, I will make a PowerPoint and give you an example of what you should put in an email. Okay? All right. Hey, James says he's got 18 votes now. Congratulations, Carl. Let's see if he can't get him pushed up to the top on that. We are really pulling teeth to get to 125,000 subscribers on the channel, folks. It's very frustrating. Thanks, Colonel. I feel better now in case I have problems when I finally arrive in the USA. All right. Our Colonel shows us every day what a big heart can do, attitude, and just a little bit of humility can achieve. Yeah, that's true. So we must disclose money to caseworkers. Is it fraud not to? Blummy, I'm not sure of the process, but I do know that if you have resources, you have to disclose that. And if you have resources, your entitlements can be reduced by that. That's federal law. I encourage people to be honest, but you do what you got to do. All right. All right. Okay. So there's that. Now let's go on to some actual news here. Let's see, we've got some news first off. Let me see anything. I thought I shaved here, but it's getting caught on this T-shirt. Let me just check on something very quickly here before we get to that. Okay, news. All right, so this is going to be one of those low viewer turnout because it's last minute and nobody knew I was doing it. Senate passed a bill to reopen much of DHS after Trump moves to pay TSA officers. So the Democrats, did they come around? What's the deal on this? Pressure to make a deal because of length of security checkpoints. The Senate voted early Friday morning to fund much of the Department of Homeland Security, taking a step forward. Okay, so it doesn't say what the vote was. It does not say what the vote was. Well, that's just kind of annoying now, isn't it? Should have told us. Okay, maybe the New York Times has it. That was Washington Post. They don't want us to know how many people voted for it. Let's see. I'm looking to see. I don't see how many votes went for it. Nope, nobody's telling us the number of votes. Now, that's just stupid. Who reports and doesn't tell us the number of people voted? And they say the Pentagon is weighing 10,000 or more combat troops to the Middle East. Well, we'll see. Now we'll talk about the big news here that I covered yesterday. And we will cover this about Cyril Ramaphosa and what's going on with him. What is Egypt found in the desert? Supreme Court will consider birthright citizenship. Well, there should be no such thing as birthright citizenship for those who've defrauded the country illegally. Yep. Oh, come on. I have an CNN account. Sign me in, damn it. Oh, jeez. Chief Justice John Robertson's ancestral lines traced to a coal mining village in northwestern England. Justice Elena Kagan's grandparents were Russian Jews. Justice Samus Alito's father was born Salvatore Alita in Italy in 1914. Before the family immigrated to America, and his name was Americanized. I don't see how it's Americanized. It looks the same, Alito. Other justices inherited family roots deeper in U.S. soil, with their later generations go back to Ireland, France, and Spain. The court's two black justices have written ancestors brought to America from African bondage. Each of the 9 has a distinct story. Anyway, so this is just silly. What are they trying to accomplish here and prove? I really don't understand this. So I really don't get what the point is here. Everyone, of course, including Indians in this country, came from somewhere else. Everyone comes from somewhere else. What they're trying to do here. It's not like birthright citizenship. Well, birthright citizenship should not apply to people who illegally come into this country. They've defrauded the country, and their children should not benefit from it. Well, according to News 24 yesterday, the United States threatened France that we would not attend the G7 if non-G7 member South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa was invited. And the South Africans are trying to fob this off and pretend there's nothing to it. And I think it's a whole bunch of disinformation as far as I'm concerned. That's an opinion, so I'm welcome to my opinion. We've seen the disinformation coming out of the South African government repeatedly and the press in South Africa. U.S. threatens G7 boycott to block Ramaphosa, forcing France to withdraw summit invitation. Yeah. After moving to exclude South Africa from G Group of 20, the U.S. appears to have successfully heaped pressure on Paris to revoke an invitation to Ramaphosa to attend the G7 in Evian in June. The invitation was extended by Emmanuel Macron, trying to spit in Trump's eye back during the G20 summit in Johannesburg. How this came to be is something South Africa's been trying to piece together for the past fortnight. That's 2 weeks. On Thursday, presidential spokesman Vincent Magwenya responded to an alert on open source intel by confirming that Paris had asked Ramaphosa to step back. Said, blaming sustained pressure from the U.S. The United States, Magwenya said, had gone so far as to threaten to boycott the summit. Yes. However, not long after the formal invitation, French ambassador to South Africa met with Ramaphosa's legal advisor, who is now doubling as special advisor, to convey that Paris was facing the dilemma of Ramaphosa's presence. This is not a standard diplomatic channel. The message reached South African diplomats only recently, inquiries to both France and the U.S. following. Yeah. As for the G7, we've chosen to invite Kenya to Avion in light of the work we're doing together to prepare for the Africa Summit. Okay. We have not yielded any pressure, but have made a choice consistent with our decision to hold the streamlined G7 on geo-economic issues. We remain, of course, in close contact with South Africa, the official denial. So the South Africans are painting it as the United States is responsible. Well, it may be more likely that the ANC, Lutuli House, South Africa, GNU brand is tarnished and it's rubbish and nobody wants to be associated with a rotting corpse. That seems much more likely. South Africa's exclusion from the G7 summit, no surprise, says Ramaphosa. Well, of course not. And then when criminal charges are laid for the Iranian MTN cell connection to fund terrorists in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the former chairman of MTN during the time that this occurred was Cyril Ramaphosa, and then later it was Nkubisi Jonas. If in fact criminal charges are preferred for that case, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. You shouldn't be. They will express shock, but they know full well there are 5 cases ongoing right now about their support for terrorism, the alleged support for terrorism. Of course, given the close contact between the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and the South African National Military, the SANDF, and the South African government, their foreign minister going to Tehran repeatedly, cheering on terrorists who murdered civilians, Arabs, Muslims, these ghouls from Hamas. This is the MO for the African National Congress. They support terrorists, they believe in terrorists, they love terrorists, and they have no problem with terrorists. And they also have no problem with autocrats. So, that's who they are. That is who they are. Now, according to News 24, France withdraws the invitation that was yesterday, and they claimed it was pressure from Washington. Well, it may have been pressure from Washington, but France doesn't do what Washington says. They don't do our bidding. They consistently ignore what the U.S. does. They consistently criticize the United States, particularly Macron and the current government. I find it very hard to believe that the U.S. pressured France sufficiently enough that it would get them to change their mind or change their opinion. That seems highly improbable. Iran is a much higher stake game, and the French have not offered to give military troops for combat there, despite the request for it. They've blown us off. They also are not allowing us to use any of their bases for these operations. Why would they kowtow on something as trivial as Ramaphosa coming there? I think that the ANC brand is now just shit, and nobody wants to be associated with a stinking, rotting corpse. I think that's what's going on. France says it has appealed to the U.S. to rethink the exclusion. Really? Who did you talk to in France? An unnamed French diplomat said, we've told the American G20 presidency that it's unacceptable for South Africa to be prevented from participating in preparation of the G20. Well, that's a very different story. The G20 is not the G7. Very different story. Very different story. This story was just published an hour ago, and News 24 can't even get the story straight. This is the G7 summit, not the G20 Sherpa meetings. Look at that. It came a day after news broke that France had bowed to pressure from the U.S. to withdraw an invitation to attend the G7 summit. So they're not invited to the United States for the G20. It doesn't matter what the French say. We will not bow to French pressure on that. The lies of Sir Ramaphosa in front of the world, his rude, disrespectful conduct arriving 43 minutes late, and then his behavior afterwards mocking the President of the United States is not going to bow to this idiocy. Not going to happen. Chinese car boom is driving up South Africa's trade deficit. So while the ANC chummies up to the Chinese and John Steenhuisen takes a trip to China to sell stone fruit, John Steenhuisen trying to build the ties with China, where South Africa's agricultural imports are less than a fraction of 1% of China's agricultural imports, a country that can't feed itself, and South Africa barely ranks in those rankings. But they think they can make money there. Well, good luck to you, because your trade deficit is astronomical. You see, with the United States, you have a $23 billion annual trade, two-way trade, and you have an nearly $9 billion surplus. But with the Chi-Coms, you have an $11.3 billion trade deficit. Why? Because you only ship raw materials, which are subject to commodity swings up and down. Absolutely. But Chinese cars are flooding the South African market. They now make up 13% of sales, 79,160 of the 600,000 sold last year. While China is South Africa's largest bilateral trading partner with $38.5 billion in 2025, it ran a huge trade deficit of $11.3 billion. It's a structural issue. 60% of South Africa's exports to China consist of minerals like gold and platinum, which do not fetch much value. Well, frankly, that's bullshit. I don't know who this author is, but that's bullshit. Gold and platinum fetch tons of value. Gold is at a record price. What kind of moronic statement is that? What kind of moronic statement is that? We're $5,000 a troy ounce. They're making a shitload of money going to China. That's not true. Yes, 60% of the exports are raw materials. That's the problem. They're commodities, subject to the vagaries of markets, swings up and down, not finished products, no benefication. That is what I've been saying for 6 years on this program. And now News 24 discovers this. They just wake up to this. I've told you about a massive trade deficit with China. I've told you about the overdependence on raw commodities and the Chinese sending their finished products, their benefit. All the benefication goes to China. And you buy it and you have a trade deficit. They've just woken up and they can't even get the story straight. They've just woken up to this. They can't even get the story straight. And finally, life behind bars for 3 convicted murderers. 2 white guys and a colored dude. The Dumasani Pakati's killers are sentenced for brutal farm crime. Yaku Kemp, Louis Kotsia, Hert van der Westhuizen have been sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder of Dumasani Pakati on a chicken farm in Brits in 2023. The 3 accused were found guilty of beating Pakati to death, appeared in the Haitang High Court on Friday, where sentences were handed down. So they beat him to death for collecting water on the farm. Meanwhile, the murder, torture, terroristic murder of Brendan Horner, not solved. No suspects. The murder of, well, we just go on and on with this for hours. Virtually none of these murders are solved. But this one's solved because the victim was black. Oh, also the cops caught the idiots with the corpse. They drove the corpse somewhere and they were caught by the cops. The value of the dollar is not worthless. What are you talking about? I buy goods and services with every day. I pay for my flight with dollars. It's not worthless. The tulips are stung. The world order is changing while the UN become more and more irrelevant and soon run out of money. Yep. So, what has Egypt discovered? Natural gas. Ooh, Egypt discovered a big natural gas field. There you go. Check it out. Egypt and Apache Corporation discovered a natural gas field in Egypt's western desert with significant potential output. It's expected to produce 26 million cubic feet of gas and 2,700 barrels of condensate per day. Wow. Efforts to produce oil, they found gas. And we've already talked about the Senate voting. So there you go. That's the news for today, folks. Again, 3 things. We'd like you to go vote for Carl von Blerk in all the categories that have been nominated. The links to those categories are in the description of this video. Go click on it and feel free to vote for him for an industry. And then in addition to that, congratulations Joe Emilio, who won an award of exceptional merit for his investigative documentary on the Tigerberg Raceway. And finally, if you are a refugee resettled in America and you've had a bad experience, or you're not getting the concern or care that you believe you should be getting, or you've been mistreated, you can contact the Office of Refugee Resettlement. Again, you need to give your case number, your name, your address, your phone number, where you're located, your case agency, the case officer's name, their phone contact number, and then detail bullet comments, not novels. No one's going to read a 6-page email. People send me a 12-minute voice message and they think I'm going to listen to it. I can't listen to a 12-minute voice note. Send me short ones. Send me a minute or 2. I'm driving. That's when I listen to these things mostly. So when you send them an email, make sure that you follow my instructions and don't send them a novel. If you're a refugee aspirant living in South Africa, this is not for you. This is resettlement, not refugee. Resettlement, once you're here. Okay? And finally, Massimo is supposed to appear in court. That's correct. All right. Cool. Yeah, the tulips are lovely. All right. You're late because this was an unscheduled one. Yeah, I don't know. All right, there you go, folks. Thanks for being here. That's going to do it for today. Sorry for the short one, but I do have to run to the airport now, so we're going to wrap up here in just a moment. Give me 1 more minute. So many farm attacks, people are dead. Yes, El Marie, I can't keep up with it. I don't even have all the data. If someone could coalesce all those attacks of recent and send me a WhatsApp file with the links in it, not a WhatsApp file, but a Word file with the links in it, that'd be great. Alabala, what's the A for? And Lardskoy. Wow, there's some names I haven't seen here in donkey years showing up in here. Good to see you there. All right, appreciate everybody being here. So, yeah, thank you all for your concerns about my travel. Hopefully I'll make my connection to Chicago pretty quickly. We'll see how that goes. If they leave on time, I should be fine. How do you even send a 12-minute voice note? I don't know. I've got 11-minute, 42-second voice note. It's a bit long. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for being here, and we'll catch you when I get to Vegas. I might do something from the airports. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, you guys take care. Thanks for being here. God bless, and appreciate your support for the channel. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it. Have we got any likes? We got any likes? Let's see. How many likes have we got? Settings. We got 187 likes, 284 people, 300 people here, and 187 likes. Come on, man. Why do I have to remind people about the likes all the time? Do you not like the stuff, or you just forget? All right. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourselves. And that's going to do it. I'm off to the airport in a couple minutes. Bye-bye.